What's going on? Move the Mouse here, back in City Skylines. Let's play Season 8, Episode number 2, Town of Grand Lakes. And if you remember in the last episode, at the very end, when I was recording some cinematics, we actually hit the next milestone. So let's talk about that real quick. Get the town set up and talk about the poll that is still open right now, but is already kind of shaping the city. And I'll explain that, though, in a bit, in a little bit more detail. But let's dive in and talk about one of the most important things that my towns always need, and that is a fire department. So I kind of don't want to break that rock, but we're going to when we build a road through there anyways. But for now, we'll put the firehouse right there. Let's see where that covers. Because actually, I probably should put that a little closer over here. But we can move that later when we have money. That wasn't very smart, actually. So again, and do as I say, not as I do. Generally, you want to put your firehouse a little bit closer to your power plant. Power plant's one of the most important buildings that, if that burns down, you are in trouble. It can really crash your town fast. So that was not very smart of me. But second firehouse will go over there. In the meantime, though, what do we have for money? Not a lot. Just enough to get a police station in. And maybe this one we can throw over here on the circle. Will it let us? No? Okay. I guess we'll go here. No, we'll go on this side. Okay, or not. Come on. Let me... Whatever, that works. Although that's pretty much just as far thanks to the roundabout. So I guess that didn't really matter. This is all temporary. Let me start the episode by reminding you kind of what we're doing here. So it's unfortunate, but not very surprising that the very first project that this city embarked on is basically one giant fix-it-later project. Because we're going to blow this away. Let's make sure we didn't miss anything major in the milestones. We do have districts now. Some new policies. Second loan. Okay, there we go. Now we can maybe drop in a second firehouse. I forgot about that. So economy, loans. Let's take that out. We could definitely put in a second firehouse with that. So let's do that. Let's do that for now, because as we expand over here, we'll start to expand this way, and we'll need coverage for kind of this half of the island. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. Money-wise, we're starting to see more demand for commercial space. Do we zone? We zoned all that. Okay. So, hoping that that meets the demand, let's start in on our next residential neighborhood for now. Let's see, how do we want to do this? That was a little... This road is a little not parallel, so let's... stay with the grid that we had. That works. I made one of the ugliest streets that I've ever seen over here. I didn't even realize I did this until the edit, by the way. I should have said something about this in the chat during the premiere. But this is a four wide block. You can go 4 away from the street on either side, and I did a 4 wide block. So you have some houses that are facing this way, some houses that are facing that way, and they're using up the entire lot, road to road. I don't know why I did that. That was an accident. I shouldn't say that. I do know why I did that. So I was counting out 10 from here, and here, and here, and here. Well, and here. And then I counted 10 from here. I used that node to build that road. So that's why that was uneven, because most of the roads were counted left to right, and the last one was counted right to left. So in case you're wondering why that really ugly street that was all kind of misaligned and not right, that's one of the reasons why. The other reason is, again, we're building a giant fix-it-later project. And let's come down here. And we can build kind of another loop here. Because we're not too married to the structure over here. In fact, I'm pretty sure we're going to delete everything. Wow, that has got to get flattened out. Hang on. Budget. We'll go up to 90. I'm not micromanaging too much. I'm not too worried about it. But let's break out some zone tool. Give them a couple more blocks of residential to move into. And then maybe we'll turn on the smoke detector city policy, since my towns love to burn. In fact, let me make sure I didn't turn off fire spreading. Disable fire spreading. off. So it's not on, so it's enabled. I feel like I turned that off for one of the tutorial builds or something I was working on not too long ago. I just want to make sure that was still on, because we got to have our entertainment. So district specializations, we started to unlock unique buildings. We can specialize in forestry and agriculture, green and organic local produce buildings for residential and commercial respectively. And we already dropped in our fire and police house. So let's talk about that poll, because this is a good point to circle back. So this first island is all Fix It Later project. Let's see where that poll is at right now. I'll throw up on the screen. I'm recording this on Sunday afternoon, but I'll throw up on the screen kind of where this is at currently. So we are seeing the casino and nightlife winning with about 48%. Airports, industry, university. Quite a few comments on that post on the Discord and the comments of the last video mentioned that it might make sense to kind of have this be a combo unit, a combo island, in that university and nightlife. The nightlife is probably going to be really popular for the university students, so it only makes sense to kind of have them there. What this poll is going to help me do is eliminate what we won't be doing here, so we can start to think about those things going elsewhere in our city. So the things that are kind of losing in that regard, if we think of combining casino, nightlife, and university into a build on this island, maybe where this highway was, like this could be the exit, and the university can kind of be off on this half, and the nightlife can be over here and kind of encroach on the beach. We'll figure all that out, but what we've established with this poll is what is not going on this island, and that's going to be industry and airports. So we've got to kind of think about the structure of our city. Like, that's good farming land if we wanted to go and use the actual resources that are here. Got a little farmland over there and over there. Actually, wow, we've got a lot of good farmland. So let's take a look at our resources. We've actually got a bit of ore over here. Farming and ore and oil. We won't be unlocking that oil tile though. So we could always import if we wanted to establish any businesses or supply chains that require oil. But it looks like farming is going to be one of our better options if we want to actually use what's happening in the map. Could be kind of interesting. Though it may not necessarily fit the greater scheme of the build. So we've got to think about industry, airport. Do we go natural? Do we go importing of goods and maybe pollute more? I don't know. So that'll probably be next week's poll, is once we've established, and we're kind of there, I can kind of tell where the poll's going to go. Once we've established what's going here, we know that the things that lost aren't going here, and we can move them elsewhere, and that's where we really start to plan out the build. But in the meantime, I'm on pause. Let's do it on 3x speed, because we're just trying to make some money and unlock some tiles and expansions. And if we want to start thinking about where to go, I mean, yeah, sure, we could go over here, but it doesn't give us a lot of room on the highway to actually kind of bring an entrance and exit in there. So I think this one makes much more sense to kind of establish as the next part of our city. We can split this interchange up a bit, so maybe we work more towards this side of the tile for now, and we can start to build, I don't know, a little area over here. We could think about maybe farming, but this can definitely be kind of our next expansion as we start to really build things out, or if we have a project that we want to move off someplace and start, rather than, you know, start it over here to destroy it. Maybe we start building some of that stuff. Excellent. Maybe we start building some of that stuff where it's actually going to go. Let me water this real quick, and then we can talk about what we just unlocked and try and get all that in this episode if we've got enough money. We'll see. I know we don't unlock our third loan yet. Just kind of lining this up by eye. Not the best, but a little faster sometimes. I also decided to change the grid up here. Maybe we'll come in and clean all that up later. But honestly, it's underground. Do we really need to worry about it? We don't see it unless we're in that view. I know it bothers some people, but if we saw more of it. We need more sewage treatment capacity. So that's going to be under economy, because we've still got the water budget down at 70%. Let's throw that at 90 or 88. or 90, until people start complaining again. We'll crank it up to 100, and then we have to start thinking about dropping in new stuff. Now, people mention this in the comments, why don't you just raise it above 100? Well, because it's less efficient. So yes, you can cram a little bit more electricity, a little bit more water, sewage coverage, whatever that resource might be, by raising the budget. Technically, it's more efficient to have it under budget and have more capacity than you need than it is to try and stretch more out of what you've already got out there. Some of those technically do affect job growth, though. So raising the budget on all those things like healthcare will, I think, technically create more jobs for the people that are driving the hearses, more jobs at the recycling plants for people driving the trucks, and so on, if you over budget for those. But ideally, we're not making our money management as efficiently as possible if we do that. So our commercial strip's filling up nice on the outside here. I think what we can do is, since nobody's moved in down here, this can be our next commercial strip, kind of along this road. So we'll do that, and then maybe this could be commercial also. When we'll have all residential in behind there. If we need more industry expansion, we can bring that out down here. We want to be careful though, because we don't want it to pollute our water supply. So maybe we start thinking about a little industrial pocket over here. Again, we don't want to pollute the water supply, but maybe we could do something on this side. A little industry by the river, just far enough away where it won't get polluted. Maybe we can get rid of the beaches and do a quay wall and do kind of a shipping port over here. Might be kind of fun. You know, one thing that I didn't look at on this map was where the heck the rails are. Are they over there? Of course. I see rails over that way. Please tell me that's not the only rail on this map. One of the reasons why I chose Marin Bay was because it had all the connections. There's a couple of the new campus maps that I think don't have shipping connections. So it just limits you, and I thought this would be a fun map. But I may have made a mistake on the train again. I'll hang on. Let me double check this. Things that I should have done before I started the series. But it's fun to bring you along on the mistakes sometimes. So I planned out 9 tiles. I used the cheats, unlocked all this stuff in a map, separate save, because we're doing the actual Let's Play all legit. But now I forget, one, if I checked for trains, and 2, if I did, where they are. Man, I bet they're off map. Can you see it? Can you see transport routes? We can see the shipping, so shipping's not a problem. It comes right around that main island. Is that... That's highway. That train tracks over there? Man, did I not buy a tile with train tracks in this scheme? Man. Burned again. Because the whole reason for me thinking about this particular build, one of my biggest gripes on console is the 9 tile limit. One of the first mods that I recommend, once you get past a basic comfort level with the game, one of the first mods I recommend on PC is either going to 25 or the 81 tiles mod. 25 opens it up to basically all the tiles that it will let you click on here. So like, this 5x5 pattern, right? It'll let you buy all that, and then there's still some natural kind of fog off in the distance that kind of fades off. With 81 tiles, you can build all the way up to the very edge of the map, and there's even mods that let you technically carry things over the edge if you wanted to put something right smack on the edge. But the reason that I chose this particular map is I kind of like the way these 9 tiles lay out a city, and I was thinking of it more in this orientation, but it gives us a nice chunk of that coastline. There's kind of a natural barrier with the trees and the mountains, and it makes sense that the people would live down here by the river, by the highway. I mean, obviously they built the highway based on where they live, but again, it makes sense in the context of this map. If we have to limit ourselves to 9 tiles, the starting tile and that side of the river made more sense than this side to me. But in retrospect, looks like there's a train track over there. We sure could have used that over here. And note for map makers, like, shipping was obviously a consideration, right? If we look at info views, like, they brought that through the starting tile. So if you didn't even buy an additional tile, you could do a shipping route. If you could somehow, you know, unlock that population on this island, it'd be kind of interesting if you could. But shipping was very much a consideration on this map. Train was not. If you can only get to it by building a certain way, you know, I think that's really unfortunate. And I wish map makers would be more careful. I talked about that in my Portsmouth build, and I'm pretty sure I made the same mistake. So, again, do as I say, not as I do. So let's load up our actual city again. Resigned to the fact that I may have messed up train lines, but that's okay. We can still do interior train lines to get from, say, a cargo port to processing at factories and other buildings, and we can still have a nice internal line to move things and people around. So let's focus on education, because this is going to be a campus build. So we want to stay right on top of education for our city. Where can we get this thing in on the roundabout? That would be awesome. No, I guess they're going to be part of our commercial sector. And that covers the whole city really, really well. Let's look at, again, since we're focusing on education, we are in the yellow already for our elementary school over there. So let's do that. And we are very low on money. We didn't get that other loan, right? All right, let's make some money. And in fact, yeah, let's see what we can see. So what do we have? 1,333 population. Let's see what we can do to make a little bit of money in the short term. Just a short-term loan from our population. Should be fine. If you haven't seen me do this trick before, crank your taxes all the way up. Play it on 3x speed. And wait for your town to stop growing. Which in this case, since we don't have a ton of growth happening right now, is not going to take that long. But you'll notice that our budgets are quickly gaining cash. So you may see it go up, you may see it go down, but eventually, because of the high taxes, people aren't going to want to move in, and it's actually going to drop down to negative growth. And as soon as that happens, we're going to drop it down. But somehow, people are moving in to this incredibly high tax rate, and they're making us a lot of money in the process. So thank you very much. Grand Lakes appreciates it, and a lot of it will be going into a higher education system that maybe once we have like $20 million in the bank, I could turn on free education and try and make the budget work. But right now, that's a pipe dream. We need to make some more money, lots more population, move lots of people in, make lots of things happen. So just speculation now. I can't believe people are still technically moving in. I guess they could be being born also. But either way, there's residential demand, which is crazy. Okay, we're almost at that point where we're starting to lose population, and here we are. No, I was pausing at base. Okay, there we go. We're in the negative. That's good enough. So now we can go back into our economy, lower our taxes to a more reasonable rate, which 12% they don't seem to complain. It's kind of a weird system. When you put it at 13, definitely at 14, like they just instantly start to complain. This is the max tax rate, and it's you can micromanage it to get achievements or to make money like we just did, but ultimately just set it at 12% because people don't complain as long as you're not a complete idiot of a mayor and you don't provide basic services and you don't have one-way roads that prevent people from getting in the city. Okay, no tax problem. Go forget that ever happened, and thank you for the whatever $34,000 we made. That was pretty good. You can see our money's starting to drop off pretty fast. I wonder if I should have waited for that to tick up in the bank. I don't know how that works. Either way, we made some money, and we are on our way towards 1,700. We'll unlock some transport options. Recreational use, very important. Must turn that on right away. We've got highways, so we'll be able to kind of really start our expansion on that next milestone. Highways really already at 1,700. I guess that's because the cap is so low. So what will 3,400 be? Decorative roads. And then 5,000 is a big one for growth. That's where we can get into the high density zoning and office zoning. Okay, so let's let this play out. Let's get a little... where's our zoning at? Let's get one more road in here. And this one will build based on the others. So maybe we can do that. We'll do it to like there, and we'll connect that. Just so we don't create extra nodes. And yeah, let's... I have a feeling we're gonna... It looks like we're gonna have to consider power soon, because I think we're pretty close on power budget. Right? Budget. Yeah, we'll knock these both up to 100. Because at this point, we need to consider a new power plant very soon. And maybe that would be a good money expenditure. We did a second firehouse, right? Okay, good. Good. Okay. So let's see. Info views, electricity, 100%. We're right on the cusp of going into the yellow. So, did we just hit? We just hit 1,700. Let's pause it for a minute. So we definitely have money for our next power plant, which we'll just do another coal plant. That's totally fine. Yes, it pollutes. It's a nice, cheap, easy option though. Odd that I went with the slightly less polluting, more expensive option here, but then just don't care on the power. I don't know why. It's just habit. I will eventually upgrade. We will have clean power down the road, but let's not worry about that right this minute. We unlocked another new area. Transport in the form of taxi, tours, buses, trams, some new policies we can turn on, and highway intersections. We don't really get all the decorative options, but we will get those soon. More industrial demand. Do we have all this zoned off over here? We do. We could zone that. And we could specialize. We could come over here. We could start... I was going to say we could start farming. We could start farming over here for now. Got a bit of a commercial buffer. They do end up using more water, the agricultural zones. Also, this one doesn't have a direct highway path yet, so let's freeform that so that they don't have to cut through our city to get to this farmland. And we'll kind of run this where we can get a couple roads through here. Maybe we'll do this. And then we'll kind of come through like that. Maybe we'll connect up right there. And we can get more roads kind of off of this, but we'll start simple. We do need to district it to define it as agriculture. So let's do that first. Is this the biggest? No, there we go. So this doesn't have to be the most precise thing. In fact, that's pretty sloppy, but we'll do that. So now we can specialize this in farming for now. So we can spin up some farms over here. We'll need some water. $400 is close enough. 440 is perfect. Random numbers in no particular order if you're in a rush. Let's just connect this just so that redundancy and a little extra water coverage over there. We didn't really need a roundabout here since we're not going off this way. Left turn would have been all right, but as we start to expand, that does help a little bit break up the flow over here. Now that it's zoned and basically watered. Let's come in and zone some farms. Now, it's not the most exciting job for Sims, and it will actually populate really slowly. So we'll have to probably see the industrial demand be 100% met over here before people start to shift over here and think about getting into the farm life. So this will give us some nice temporary stuff happening over here that, isn't going to pollute on this side. We can start to move more people in if we need to. We've got a little bit of space over here. We've got, this peninsula out over here we could flatten now that we have landscaping tools, but those are so expensive that I will worry about flattening this once we relocate and establish this. We'll landscape it a little bit and make some better beachfront property for our high tax rate casino, which is always good about paying their taxes. I don't know what it is. But something always seems to make sure the money's coming in on time from them. It's really good once we move them into the city. In fact, when can we move them into the city? 3,400 we unlock the casino. So we could do, little nightlife strip, casino, maybe even an amusement park and a zoo, university on the other half, separate it with some trees. I don't know. We'll try and cram a lot of life into this particular island. We just know some of the things that we'll probably try and fit elsewhere. Thanks to the most recent poll, I accidentally went into walking mode, or almost went into walking mode. I realized we didn't do something on the first episode of a console series here in quite a while, and that is figure out who our town mascot is. So I think we'll know when we see it. In fact, we'll come back to him because he's a front runner right now. Let's see. That's me. They imported me into the game. That's the actual shirt I'm wearing right now. We've used the Santa Rico Hill Cougar. You'll remember, hopefully, if you've been here long enough. The Springdale Doe. We haven't done the giraffe yet. We haven't done the bird. I mean, a mascot as a mascot is not necessarily a bad thing, but I think we got to go with the giraffe. I think also, if we let him sit here for a minute, there you go. He's too playful not to be our mascot. So is it too simple? Is it too cliche to go with Jeffrey the giraffe? Let me know in the comments down below. What is our town mascot's name? Because I'm pretty sure this is him. Let's see though. It all depends. If he can't get up on the roof, I'm going to be very disappointed with those long legs. Get up there. Get up there. Okay. We're on 3 times speed. Let's get a feel of our little town, and don't think about right now the city itself, right? Because these are streets that are gonna go away. Think about it in the greater context. Let's see what's over here. Because there's a hill there, we don't really see the background, but I want you to pay attention way off in the distance at how this town, this life. Am I on pause? Yeah, I'm on pause. Look at how it's kind of carved out of the mountains in the distance. It's nice, and I think ultimately what I'm really shooting for in this, obviously, is a focus on campus, but also a focus on getting more realistic and using the space and kind of feeling how it might actually be lived in real life, and build something kind of as true as we can to that. Especially on console with no mods, we have limitations, and we're playing the game, right? This is the game. There's no cheats, there's no mods. This is the game. It does have all the DLC, but we're working with what we've got, and I think this is going to be a pretty fun map. So let me know what you think about names for our giraffe. Again, Jeffrey, I'm just, that's who I think of. I was a Toys R Us kid, and I didn't want to grow up. So maybe you have another giraffe in mind, and if you do, let me know in the comments down below. Hopefully you are enjoying the season so far. Keep an eye out on the polls. You can probably still get the vote in for, the next day or two, depending on when you're watching this. But I try and record these episodes at least the day before. So the decisions for the Friday poll, even though they're not necessarily going into Friday's episode, it's when we're going to kind of walk that poll out. And again, what we're really establishing more than anything is what's not going on that island, and we can start to think about building that elsewhere. There'll be polls every week, though, so keep an eye out, get your votes in, have your say in how we shape the city and the future of Grand Lakes. As always, likes, comments, and shares are greatly appreciated and always help the channel. If you're new here, subscribe and consider hitting the bell to get notifications for updates in this and other series. Check back for new episodes of the Let's Plays Mondays and Fridays, and I'm going to try and get out something on Wednesdays, and I still don't know what that is, because I just want to share kind of what's top of mind, whether it's news, rants, reviews, an indie game I've been playing, funny footage from, some other game that we've been playing, which a lot of times, if you follow me on Xbox, is Battlefront with my wife and brother and sister-in-law. So stay tuned. That's always the safe bet that you'll see some of that at some point. Whether it's your thing or not, we have some really funny times on there, and I want to share some of that. And dive into some other games this year. Check back for all that. But if you're just here for the cities, definitely Mondays and Fridays, check back for the Let's Plays. There will be cities tutorials and style guides and all sorts of things that I've got planned for the coming weeks and months. So check back for that. Follow me on Twitter, and if you want to get involved in the discussion, join us over on the Discord. Great community over there. Love to have you be part of it. But until the next one, I hope you're enjoying Grand Lakes. I hope you have a fantastic week. This is Move the Mouse, signing off.